Remember that episode of Top Gear where Jeremy Clarkson destroys the Hilux? It's over there.
HoonTV!
Okay, it's Thursday the 23rd of April. Got a heap done on the car this week. Pretty good considering my arm is about that good and I can't lift anything with it. So luckily Perry's been helping me out quite a bit. I'm doing all the smalls and bits and pieces on the bench, but I just can't lift heavy stuff. And I shouldn't anyway because the bones are still pretty brittle. But cool thing is today I'm at Burson getting some hoses and bits and pieces, a few other bits. It's pissing down with rain, thunder and lightning, all sorts of stuff like that. So before we get any more wet, right, so they've got everything in here. And the thing I love about coming in here is that it's like an old school parts store. There's actually a counter, so you can speak to somebody over the counter and get the parts or tools or whatever you need. How you doing? So, hey mate. This is one other really cool thing that you can get here through our friends at Newlon. I use this already in the drag car. So forever and a day when you've been trying to put diff oil and trans fluid into a car or gearbox oil and stupid pumps and all that sort of stuff and making a huge mess, this easy squeeze thing here, the nozzle comes off, screws on, and then you basically just hold the bag and squeeze it until it's empty and then throw it in the bin. So you don't make any mess, and when we did it was awesome. So I'll be getting some of them for this car as well, which is good because the auto on that one fills from underneath. Genuine warbro as well, not just some Chinese one. He's actually taller than this. He's like probably a tiny bit taller than me, and he's quite thin in this. He's quite stocky now that he's stopped racing. With my one hand. As you can see, we've got the standard shifter rod in there. There's tons of room everywhere. There's like almost an inch down the side between the box and the tunnel. A little bit of leftover on the end, which means it's only really moved about an inch from standard, and that's actually because what I did was modified the front end just by flipping it around just to change the fulcrum point so that it's not on such a crazy angle, because it's actually higher up obviously than the Commodore. And now I've had one of the guys in the car here shifting it backwards and forwards, and he said it feels really nice, so everything's nice and loose and free and works properly. So yeah, should drive just like a VE Commodore. Be very nice. So we'll trim this end down so that it's not hanging out and catching on anything, but it's all pretty good. So that's all done. Underneath, starter motor's in, and just a matter of on this trans pan here, as you would have seen already, we've got a bung there for the trans temp gauge. So I'll get a trans temp gauge on the way, and we'll be putting that in, then start filling things up. Once all that's done and it's all running, then like I said, get the exhaust on, and then next step will be upgrading the brakes on it. Alright, pretty happy with this. It is in. I ended up using that bit of box, and thanks to Gav, we've made it into a bit of a wedge shape. So it bolts perfectly up to the floor, the pedal bolts up to it. The height of those two pedals is pretty much bang on, so there's not going to be any hanging up of feet across the brake pedal. I am going to take that brake pedal out because I should be able to swap that directly with an auto one, which is going to sit over to the left a little bit and be a wider pedal. Super happy with that. Once that's in as well over here, thinking about making a nice big footrest over there because there'll be tons of room for one. So, but really happy with that. There you go, nice fly-by-wire one straight out of Commodore. Nothing catches, all works, super strong. Awesome. One day, very soon, this will be making engine noises as well. Always pays to charge your GoPro before you're going to go and film something. 0%. Oh, there's my mate Mal. There he is. Is Mal's new company car? Yeah. Car, mate.
There you go, buddy.
Is that your new company car?
Yeah. Yeah, no, the mother-in-law read it off, so I've just got to fix it for her. Nah, full of mate.
Well, can't argue with the weather today. All this COVID-19 stuff gone in, run the hand sanitizer. Mouse chasing me with a forklift, and we're looking for a brake pedal. Yeah, rather than messing around trying to modify the brake pedal that's in it already, there's about 1080 series here, and fingers crossed there'll be one in it out of an automatic.
Mark, look at this. Look at this.
Oh, it's a manual one though.
Oh, you want it for an auto?
Yeah.
Oh no.
I got one of them already.
Okay. Alright.
Now I've gone all LS the world and all that sort of thing.
Yeah.
That's a manual. It's got a slave cylinder. That one's a manual. That one's a manual. Oh no, they're all manuals.
You buggered, Marky. No good, my friend. I've let you down. Make it work, mate. Have a look through the thing.
Alright, well, let's rip it out anyway and then we can compare it to the 80 series one.
Yeah. 12 mils, mate. We're done.
Looks like someone was having a really bad day in this 100.
Oh yeah, there's still those, buddy.
That was definitely more than a kangaroo. So what we're doing at the moment is we've just found out that every single one of these 80s here is manual, which doesn't really help me out because I was hoping to just find an auto one, but what we have found is that the 100s run a slightly different brake pedal setup, and it's got like a lever system in it, probably to make the pedal a bit lighter, but we're going to try that out, compare them and see if we can actually make a 100 series one work in the car. Didn't quite get what I needed, but we have a possible solution. If not, we'll have to modify the pedal, but it'll all get welded properly and all that sort of thing, because at the end of the day it's going to be me driving it, so it's going to be done properly in super tonka tough. Oh, by the way, if you need engines, wheels, all that sort of stuff, these guys have got tons of it, and especially they've got lots of factory wheels and tyres, so if you just want to get some wheels and tyres to get yourself out of trouble, and look at all this stuff here, they got heaps of it.
Alright, can this thing come off?
See little mate Cam making stuff. Alright, quick update on this one. I have dobs of super glue around the edges there, some of this wet stuff just to lock it in place, and then it'll be a matter of filling the gap and tidying it all up, finishing some edges, making it all ready for the trimmer. A quick look under the engine bay here as well. Perry has been messing around with some of this car builder's formable exhaust heat shielding here, which is awesome. You can see that there protects the brake lines from the headers. Awesome. Okay, I kid you not, after receiving this inspection camera yesterday, I've gone and lost the clip that holds the transfer case lever on. I've got the magnet on the end of this and I just found it. So I've gone and grabbed the magnet. And if I can get this to go up in here now this time.
Oh really?
I'm just looking at where I found it a second ago. The clip is in here somewhere. Alright, this is too hard. Doing this one-handed, but it is up in here somewhere, and I'm going to find it and I'm going to show you that it works. There it is. Gotcha. That's the coolest. Yeah, so probably wasn't the best shots to send, but I was trying to do it one-handed, but check out the video link. I'll post it at the end of this video because I did an actual video on this inspection camera here from Burson. It's made by a company called Bullant. It actually, literally the day after filming the video last night, testing it out, I found a use for it and wasn't intended. I tried to get a clip undone, it went flying. And I thought I'd lost it forever, and I found it, and then I put the magnet on and got it back. So happy days. So right now doing the fuel pump. Now I've cleaned around there, it's a bit hard to see in there at the moment. So factory swell pot, little inspection cover there on the tank, which is your top plate, and then the cover that covers all up, seals it from the outside of the car. Now follow me, I'll drop that. Gonna go across the workshop here. Alright, so this is the fuel system, as you would call it, basically. Main plug here, which goes down, and this is your float for your fuel gauge. All works really good on this car, which is awesome. Yeah, everything's in pretty good nick. I actually replaced the tank a while ago because some lovely person had run it on gas before and hardly ever got run on petrol. But now, because of this conversion, running a bigger Walbro pump here, and this is from Burson. This is a Walbro, and this is, the thing is you can buy aftermarket ones as well, but this is a genuine Walbro one, and it should pretty much be a total swap over. So I'm going to take that one out, put the bigger pump in, and Perry's going to sit there and play all airflow meters.
Yeah, cleaning the airflow meter.
Show us your math. Okay, so here we have the new fuel pump. It's got the dampener on it. That's the Walbro GS341. Not too much to put in, just new plug, new wires, drill out the factory rivets to put in big terminals. Yeah, all good to go. So I'm going to drop that back in and we're ready. Burson have just sent through some goodies, and these things are awesome, especially now we're doing the wiring on the car. Check this out. From the crew at Nava. So you know it's going to be good quality. Gav's going to mount this on the front of his car, look. Yeah, it's a light bar, look.
Probably work better than the headlights that are on it anyway.
Check that as well, like you won't be able to see this until I turn it off, but the lights are all adjustable. So you can move the angle around. That's pretty cool, check that out, Perry.
Oh wow.
Yeah, alright. With my dodgy arm. There you go. It's got nice foam bits on the end as well, so you don't scratch the crap out of your bonnet. And then point them down. So 1, 2, 3. Look at that. So what I'm working on at the moment is this crazy big contraption here. Because we're running the VE Commodore 6-speed auto, got the VE shifter here with the Tiptronic in it. So up and down, all that sort of gear. It's all wired in with the loom from Killer Custom Cables, which is awesome. And because needed clearance for the transfer case shifter here, and didn't want the shifter in some crazy spot or too far out of the way, I've built this quite bulky looking, but I'm pretty happy with the way it's worked out. So what is this bit here, I've got footage of this, bolts onto the floor, seals to the floor, and this bit here, which normally seals to the floor on a Commodore, so it's like a tube that goes down. Basically this bit here hangs under the floor of the car. The rod from the transmission is a factory rod, it's only moved a teeny bit, it all works perfectly. Very happy with it. So what I've done now is, because it's quite ugly on the side there, is with the help of Cam from Solid, folded all this up and made templates out of cardboard, then copied it to aluminium, and then made it all fit so it covers in the sides, covers in there, and then what that does is I've got that sitting there, and whilst it doesn't look like it's a perfect fit, sits in here on that just nicely. I haven't trimmed all this yet either way, but once that sits down, there's a bit of a lip here. So what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to glue this in place into here all the way around, linish all that back, smooth it all out, fill in where the old traction control button used to be, because I don't need that, and then that'll all get smoothed out, linished down. Sadly, Cam's beautiful welds here, just give them a quick clean up, and then basically this whole area at the moment I'm actually looking at getting trimmed. So it'll have like a nice vinyl trim around it with like a stitch line or something like that. Mate of mine who's done some stuff with the bikes, who you would have seen, Tony from Southland Trim, he trimmed the seats on the R1 I built for Cedar, and so he's similar to doing a seat really, so he's going to trim that up for me, it'll all look nice. And then in the front here, because for ease of getting it in and off, rather than having the front sheeted in, it's going to basically have like just another bit of trim on the front with some Velcro or something like that, just to hide the front bit. But it'll all come down over nicely and then all look nice and neat and trimmed and between the seats. So yeah, it's all perfect. So I'm going to keep going with this, but next time around this will be finished. I have a few more shots of it, but so far last time in the build, put this thing in here when I was still wearing a sling. Probably still struggle to put it in, but anyway, with the build this time around, we've got the shifter setup is done, so to speak. So what I've done here is just for the meantime, where the original gear stick came out the front, there's now a metal plate all painted and that's sealed in there. That'll have some car builders over it, and then that'll go back over the top. Transfer case will come out there, and the other auto shifter will come out there. Move the console back, and that's all sorted. We've got half the wiring loom coming through here. Just got to mount stuff like the body control module and the plugs and all that sort of stuff, the ECU. And then in the front, Perry's been working away. He's got most of the loom is all plugged in and everything, all plugs in all nice and neatly. Just the leftover ones like airflow meter here, and just working on getting everything in place and all that sort of stuff. At the moment I'm working on mounting the fuel pressure regulator, the factory Holden charcoal canister for emissions reasons, and just doing fuel lines and that sort of stuff. It's getting there, it's getting to the point where we're almost getting close to being able to put fluids in it and try firing it up. And with the way the loom's all set up, it's a matter of just plugging in a few final things, getting some new battery cables made, which we'll do here ourselves, and then it should fire up. So looking forward to hearing it, because the first fire up's going to be straight out the back of the headers, so it should be bloody loud. So thanks for watching, make sure you subscribe, hit the little bell, and we'll see you in the next one.